Okay, so this is the inherent misery of work part 2, and in this video I'm going to be mainly focusing on the competition aspect of the actual, like I guess this is more relating to like careers, but this also applies to jobs definitely as well, especially to more white collar jobs. Although in blue collar jobs this is kind of a thing, but it's not as big of an issue there. Now, the first video was very popular, and I always intended to make a part 2 to this video. That's why on the first video I wrote part 1, right? Because I was always intending to do a part 2 because there's so much to cover when it comes to this topic. And one thing I didn't talk about as much, or a little bit, in the first video was the actual competition when it comes to work, right? When it comes to the job market, right? Now, there were so many like interesting images to choose from in the background, right? But I just stuck to this one because it's high resolution, it's simple, right? There's no stock images, like no watermarks, and no any of that stuff, right? But originally there was the same image that you're seeing on your screen right now, but with one was the guy at the top had like a trophy in his hand, right? And I want you guys to keep that image in your mind, right? Of a guy holding a trophy. That's the prize for winning the rat race. I'm gonna get onto that later, but first and foremost, right? Let's actually analyze. Excuse me. Let's analyze the nature of the job market. Let's analyze the competition that's inherent to this system. You can't you can't split it. You can't. Excuse me. Like you can't separate a career and a job from competition. I mean, it's just part of the deal, right? And everywhere in life there's competition. This existence that we are in is based on competition. Competition for food, for resources. For normies, it's women, sex, all this shit, right? And of course, this proceeds to like higher levels as well, right? Competition in for jobs, for money, for social status, which I mean is just so stupid in my opinion. But this is how the world operates, and we have to deal with it, right? Now the problem is that I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you don't have a job, you don't eat, right? So everybody's forced to play these bullshit games, right? You're forced to compete. You're forced to climb the social ladder. You're forced to run the rat race, unless you're very lucky, right? And most people are not lucky. Most people have to work to eat. Most people have to be slaves, right? So I mean, I want to get onto this right now because I've talked about this for long enough. The problem with the job market is not just that the actual jobs that you are given are very shitty and like low quality. It's not just that, right? Because I mean, if you look at a lot of these jobs now, they pay the equivalent of like a summer job for a teenager 20 or 30 years ago, which is not acceptable, and that tells you where this economy is going, right? And the problem is that our governments in the UK, US, most of Europe, pretty much all of Europe actually, are willing to give money to Ukraine, right, by like the billions, right, instead of investing that here where we need it. And I understand all that shit about, Russia's a dictatorship and all this. Okay, that's not the point, right? The point is that when you look at this country, people are suffering, right? And inflation's going through the roof. That just shows that the government doesn't give a shit about you or me, right? And I mean, Trump's not going to fix it. You guys just saw the news the other day of like the of the tariffs going on China and Mexico and stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, we're in big trouble. But because he's coming for us next. He's coming for Britain. He's coming for the EU. He's gonna make life a lot harder. But anyway, why am I talking about this? So, yeah, the job market. So, oh my days. When it comes to this, yeah, I have so many things I want to say. So, the actual like social structure within jobs and like careers and stuff, you have to deal with like the petty bullshit or politics within there. You have to go to the what are they called? Like those meetings or whatever, like board meetings, yeah. You have to deal with all the petty personalities, all of the kind of the passive aggressive behaviors, the snipes from other people, the competition for resources, for promotions, for all this other kind of stuff, right? And what are you really doing this for? What you're doing this for money, right? You're running the hamster wheel just to be a fucking slave. That's a pointless existence, right? You are not here to be a slave to money, man. Actually, like in terms of like materially, you are. You don't have a choice. But that's not what we are truly here for. That's not what we should be here for, right? But it's just the world that we live in is so shit that this is all that's valued. Money, 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 money. There's nothing here of value really, right? Except your own personal development. But I mean, back to the actual source itself, right? You know, you have to deal with all this petty shit. You have to constantly deal with, you know, harassment, and you have to deal with like attitude, right? So, co-workers giving you attitude, bosses pressuring you. Oh, why haven't you met this quota? Oh, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Just stacks of paperwork being put on your desk. Although nowadays that's more so to be sent in the form of an email or a PDF, right? But you know that classic sort of 9 to 5 slave lifestyle, and all of this competition for things that don't matter. I mean, okay, fine. Oh, I got a promotion. Oh, I mean, how many people get promotions nowadays? I mean, it's getting rarer and rarer, right? And it's just the problem is that we live in an economy that is fucked, right? And as the economy gets harder and harder, the job market gets more stressful and more stressful because people are competing more to survive. This is literally like it's kind of like Squid Games, if you guys have heard of that. So it's like you're kind of forced to play these bullshit games where you run the risk of dying, right? Like you run the risk of getting shot or something. Not literally, but you know what I mean, right? If you don't do the right thing, right? And I think this is a very serious problem, right? So having to deal with all the personalities, having to deal with all the personalities, having to deal with all the petty shit, having to deal with all the the ignorance from the customers and stuff, their attitude, their this lack of respect towards you. If you guys have worked as like a receptionist or something, you know what I'm talking about, right? And they refuse to listen to your points of view. They don't understand the problems that you talk about. As long as they keep it respectful, then it's fine. But usually they fucking don't. Why am I talking about this? I'm going to be talking about competition, but I mean, competition just makes work like 100 times worse than it already is. You're already getting up at ungodly times at like 5 a.m., right, and stuff like that. You're already like sacrificing your health for money. You're already sacrificing your time for money. You're already sacrificing your life for on the altar of this shit, right? And what makes it worse is that you have to constantly fucking compete for bullshit positions. Oh, I got a promotion. Oh, I'm now the CEO of the company, which is not going to happen, but ideally that's how it works, right? Oh, I'm now middle manager. Oh, I'm now head of communications or some shit like this. And people are so proud of this as well. I don't understand that. Okay, fine. Oh, I'm in a higher position in the company. I mean, it doesn't mean shit. You've sacrificed how many years of your life? You've sacrificed how many sleepless nights? You've had to get up how early in the morning? For what? Some bullshit mundane position that can just be taken away from you like that? And there's no job security anymore, right? You can lose your job so easily, right? There's always another illegal immigrant, right, ready to take your position. And one good thing about Trump is that he's cracking down on illegal immigration, right? But here in the UK, we don't have that luxury, and I don't think we will for a long time. I mean, anyone can just roll up onto the beach on the south coast and say, "Oh, I want asylum" or something, and they get put up in a free hotel. They get put up with free internet, free Wi-Fi, free phones, no phone bill, free food, all this shit, right? Meanwhile, we have to like break our backs just to make a living, and it just really angers me, right? And it's like Another thing as well is that when it comes to this, when it comes to immigration, I want to talk about that. When you look at it, right, legal migrants, right, especially like skilled ones, they are always the ones that like flee from their home countries in massive numbers. Although that's changing recently, but they want to come to the West because of better opportunities, better resources, other things, better government, among other things, and they are much more skilled than they're like just the average person, right? So you are already like playing on a much more harsh level playing field, right? It's way too unfair at the moment. And another thing, when it comes to like CVs and stuff, oh my days, this one is like so bad. Here in the UK, it's the same thing in America, I'm pretty sure, and most of Europe. I'm not too sure about Europe, but I have people that I know that tell me about it, and they basically say that well, I know this because I've experienced this not in Europe, in the UK, but they say that when you apply to the job, right, they don't look at the vast majority of like CVs and personal statements. So you can spend all day or all week or most of your month, right, writing that fucking cover letter and personal statement, trying to make yourself look appealing. You know all the strategies they tell you to use, right? You can use all of the efforts, right, but you will still not get recommended or looked at or anything. It just gets thrown in the trash. They read the first couple of words. If they don't like what they see, bam, in the trash. Another thing they don't like as well is if they see a name that they don't like, right? If they see like a foreign name or something, because I've heard of this, then they don't look at it, right? Although that's definitely changing now. And some people argue it's actually on the other way around because of like diversity hires or something. I'm not too sure about that. But then again, the corporate policies, right? The company always comes first. The corporation always comes first, right? There's this saying that really angers me. It's like, what was it exactly? Yeah, the corporation, sorry, the corporate management or something, right? Or sorry, yeah, the company is the family, right? Or we're all a family here, right? That's kind of concerning, right? They're trying to make you feel. I mean, I know why it's for. It's to make you feel at home or something. But really, it just sounds like creepy. It sounds like they're trying to control you, right? So when you add all of this up, right, the job market's a joke, right? They're paying you like what, £13 an hour, right? I mean, if you're lucky, right? I mean, that's the base rate, 11 to £13 an hour here in the UK. In America, it's something similar, but it's just for jobs that are supposedly like bachelor's level, that things that you need a degree for, degree level, or something to do with social media management or marketing, they're paying you £13 an hour. What is that, right? What is that shit? You can't pay someone that low. That's like summer job wages, man, for teenagers. I mean, that's just how fucked up the economy is. I mean, I just don't understand how people are, because everywhere I go, as I said, everywhere I go, there's fucking children, and I don't see how these people are making that kind of money to even consider raising a child. I mean, let alone to actually bring a child here. I mean, to actually, to have that kind of access to resources is something insane, right? And it's just, it's just a shame because even if you bust your ass, right? Right, here's how the traditional system worked, right? You would stay in a job for 60 years after graduating. Sorry, you would stay there for 40 years, then retire, and then you'll die. That would be your life, right? Now that's seen as something lucky. Now that's seen as, oh, you're lucky if you have that. Most people just work gig economy jobs, right? Or they work white collar jobs. They still have to deal with the bullshit, right? But there's no safety, there's no security, right? And I mean, I've said this before. I'm willing to work because money, right? But I don't want to work. I hate that term. Oh, he doesn't want to work. Who the fuck wants to work? Work is slavery, man. And I mean, just looking at this entire institution, looking at this entire corporate ladder shit, right? I mean, it just makes it 1,000 times worse than it already is. It just makes it 1,000 times worse. Um, but yeah, this economy is just so fucked. I mean, I'm hoping that that these tariffs actually do something for the economy, but I mean, they're not going to. They're probably going to mess it up even more. But you know, yes, that's all I have to say for this video. Leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm also interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on this topic. So yeah, I'll leave your comments down below. And yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.